Ahmed said the federal government would remove the controversial petrol subsidy before the end of President Muhammadu Buhari's tenure on May 29, 2023. Also, we hear from the Minister of State Budget and Planning, Clement Agba, who says the plans for subsidy have not yet been concluded. They don't know, we really at this point don't even know what the palliatives would be when subsidy is removed. How would Nigerians survive? With inflation at this point at 21.9%, when subsidy is removed, we know that in this country the price of fuel drives the prices of every other thing. If in states, other states like Kaduna, Niger and the rest, and even the southeast states and the southwest states where fuel is sold for over 300 naira per liter, what's going to happen? That's when the subsidy is removed, what's going to happen? We have found it, we've been lucky, those of us who live in Abuja, we've been really, really privileged and lucky to buy fuel at 195 naira. So what's going to happen when the fuel subsidy is removed? We're probably going to buy fuel in those states, or probably generally buy fuel at maybe 600 or 700 naira, who knows, or 500 naira per liter. How many liters would you be able to buy? How much would transportation cost? Currently in Abuja, average transportation is about 200 naira per drop. At that time, how would the average Nigerian survive? The cost of every other thing would go up if what we've seen in the last few years is anything to go by. I'll leave you to join in the conversation now. My guest will be joining us shortly, Mr. Samson Ojutalayo, who is an economist as well as public affairs commentator, is going to be joining us in the course of the program. But in the meantime, let's hear from you. Now, I want us to maybe help government find solutions. What do you think would be the way out for us as a people to solve this problem, especially with the removal of fuel subsidy, so that Nigerians do not die of hunger and starvation? Already people are dying, people are going through difficult times. Some people have rescheduled their meal schedule now would be maybe 001 or 101 or 100 or 0, just zeros somewhere. For some people, for lots of people. What do we do to assuage this? What do we do to eliminate this problem or reduce it to the barest minimum? If government doesn't have ideas as to what they would do to cushion the effects of the removal of subsidy, what would you advise them to do? The federal government has said through the Clement Agba that says fuel subsidy removal, the palliatives, no conclusions yet on what palliatives federal governments will provide for Nigerians. Join the conversation, 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. You can also send us SMS and WhatsApp messages on 090-9705-4450. My first call is here. Hello, good morning.
Good morning once again, my friend.
Good morning, Mayowa. Good to have you.
Thank you. I'm not pessimistic. I'm believing that even if they remove the subsidy, the pain will not be much, because I'm hoping that there will be palliatives that will come out with it. Just like you said, how many states are currently selling at regulated price? Most of the states in the aside Abuja. Yes. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Mayowa. Go ahead.
Okay, I say aside Abuja and Lagos, every other states are selling above even 300 naira per liter. And I think the level of inflation we're having currently is a global information that the government has pushed out. I'm still believing that even when Dangote refinery comes on board, all this issue of subsidy will not be there. I'm hopeful that it will not be as we are mainly be thinking. We're going to survive. No, the pain is much now. But a
What
nation
would you,
that
Mayo, what would you suggest as a
mm,
palliative or as a measure to cushion the effects of subsidy removal? We're just less than 60 days away, or about
mm,
60 days away from, the end of this administration. And if we don't have solutions to the removal of subsidy, I mean, that would leave us in a very bad state. What do you make? What do you think?
it even go beyond issue of subsidy. We're even talking about forest availability. You told us yesterday that even school and some foreign demand cannot be met because of scarcity of. I think it's to improve on productivity and create a enable environment for businesses to triumph. And when you have a situation like this, like from the knowledge I have, you create some relief for companies and industry that are into productive activities. You give them some tax relief. Go to other countries of the world when they have situation like this. You just create a tax haven for companies to operate. Give them a sufficient tax relief and allowances so that the cost of production will be reduced. And government should also look into the area of labor engagement and make sure that, number one, the salary of workers have to increase. And when you increase salaries of workers, it's not just going to be federal government workers alone, because it has to be a shame thing. Because if the cost is going up, you also create some relief for people so that they can leverage on it. I think those are the things. And I also believe that the incoming president or government will also be thinking that they will not come and create unnecessary pain on the people. That means there is no need for governance if people are in abject poverty and pain. I am optimistic that there will be drastic policies that will reduce the effect of the subsidy removal.
All right. Thank you very much, Mayowa. Thank you for your thoughts. Mayowa thinks that federal government should create tax reliefs or allow for certain companies and businesses to have tax holidays within this period. That's going to help the situation. But then a lot of times we've seen over time that the tax reliefs granted to companies and corporations in this country doesn't really translate into better lives for the ordinary people. For those who know about it, the fact that Dangote has a tax relief, even though that's he's been doing construction roads, hasn't really directly impacted the lives of people in the country. The cost of those commodities hasn't gone down. One other thing, the cost of gas, for instance, cooking gas, went up. We heard the cost of importation, this, that, the Russia-Ukraine war and all, had made the cost of gas go up, and also the rupturing of pipelines and all that, vandalism and all affected that. But since then, we don't know if those situations have been taken care of, and the cost of gas, because the cost of gas has remained the same, even when we said, we've battled or oil theft and all that. It seems like when things go up in this country, they hardly ever come down. Prices of things go up and they hardly ever come down. What do we do? What would you suggest federal government does to fix this problem? If SWIFT subsidy is removed by May, we have about 60 days or more. Yeah, about 60 days before that day. So there's a big chance that by the beginning of May or even the end of April, subsidy should have been removed if we're looking at that timeline for the removal of subsidy. What do you think we can do to make this situation better? I don't know. It seems like we've been experiencing drop calls. The calls come in and they just drop. 09073530044 and 09087668888. Those are the numbers to call. Now, someone said any serious government would have put in place measures to cushion the effect of subsidy removal. We also hear this morning, from yesterday, that the fuel consumption in this country has hit 80 million liters per day. And the question that I'm asking is, how come there's fuel scarcity and people are parking their cars in queues for hours and days, And then at the same time, fuel consumption is going up. Where's the fuel going to? Has it been moved outside the shores of this country and Nigerians are paying subsidy on it? Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Prince.
Good morning to you, Moses.
I want to appreciate you for the good work you are doing over there.
Appreciate you joining us.
You are really amending many hearts. It's difficult and tensions and this moment. God will bless you.
God bless you too.
Yeah, government has a lot to do. One must they cause challenges on the ground for the incoming government. You know, there are external debts yet to be repaid, loaded on the ground for the incoming government. The issue of oil subsidy or no oil subsidy is not our challenge. Many Nigerians have been enduring with the economical meltdown. There are some economical languages they bring to shadow some of the challenges on the ground. Number one, the issue of corruption should be dealt with. There are people who took away our money. What have they done about it? That is one of the challenges we face in this country. How many Nigerians who took away our money, stole money in outside there, with that money can help in certain community in the state, all over the state. One man can embezzle this money, keep it for his own generation children yet unborn. That is one thing we need to fight for. I remember China, they need to deal with corruption as number one challenge in their country before their country become what it is today. Governments are pumping in money to security, and we don't see the dividend of all these things on the ground. Pumping money to construction. And when they pump money there, some persons would like to embezzle money from the construction that money was pumped into. That is another challenge. So until the issue of corruption is dealt with, that will help this nation very powerfully. Then I am not encouraging this government to remove oil subsidies for the things of it, because anything that touches oil subsidy now, the price will go up, because people normally depend on that. Then what is the dividend of we having oil? Look at the issue of gas you just mentioned. We produce gas. Then the issue of our refineries that is not working, we import fuel from outside. It's a great concern. What is so difficult that we cannot put our refineries in order? To have people to work in those refineries. To alleviate people who are unemployment in this country. There are people who are making merchandise in importing this fuel. That is another concern. Then when you talk about price control, well, it's another issue. Because every marketer, as you see them, every product in the market, they have their union. I was in the market, before you know it, there was an information that this thing has been increased. Before you know it, I hear that job. In 10 minutes, something you buy at about 1,000, now they say it's 1,002. Because they have calls, they say, oh yeah, this one has been increased, 200 has been increased. So government should come up to call all these unions of these products in the market. Because the pain is all over. So let us help ourselves to put this country in order. Thank you. This is my speaking this morning.
Thank you very much, Moses. Appreciate your thoughts. And price control, that's one thing. Now that we're talking about fuel subsidy removal again, it's a big conversation. Over the years, it's been there. In 2012, Nigerians occupied Nigeria on account of subsidy removal. This time around, it seems like Nigerians welcome the idea. We have a new leadership of the Labour. The question is now the right time to remove the subsidy now that we're dealing with other economic situations? The war in Ukraine is one. The global pandemic was there, and that's the excuses that governments across the world are giving to say, well, the war in Ukraine is the reason for why cost of living and living expenses are going up. They also say the global pandemic, COVID-19, is part of the reasons Nigeria, citizens of the world are suffering. If this translates to Nigeria, looking at it at a time when other governments are trying to make life easier for the people, trying to increase wage and also reduce taxes and all, would it be the right time now to remove the fuel subsidy, considering all of these economic indices? Hello, good morning.
Yeah, Martin, please, 1 minute, let me add a little more. The issue of subsidy removal is not the major thing. The major thing now is about the pricing. What is the correct pricing? The pricing,
Okay.
the cost of the, what is the landing cost? Because, like the last caller said, issue of price control. Because if you don't control it, somebody can just go and get a product at 1,000 and bring it to Nigeria and say you bought it at 6,000. And whatever he wants to sell it, because you don't have choice, you have to buy it. Government needs to look at the issue of pricing of the product. Then issue of accountability is very, very important. But that will also reduce, because whatever you bring, you are not getting anything from government. It is your own business. No, government is not going to be involved in it. And if NNPC is going to be involved in the importation and selling, then accountability must also come in. Then as part of a palliative, government needs to tinker with the issue of border closure. You cannot lock us when the level of productivity is low. If we don't have capacity to produce, please open the border. Let items come in so that people, and when you do that too, you also increase the activities of the people, because people will have things to trade with. You open the border, things will come in. Even those producing in Nigeria will even be able to take their whatever they are doing even outside the country too. Like Ghana, Cotonou, most of the country even came to Nigeria. The president came to Nigeria to beg our president, please, can you open the border so that our people can have something to do. And in doing that, it's a cross exchange in terms of output and activities. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you. God bless Nigeria again. Thank you. Yes, back to that issue of pricing. The NNPCL let us know that the landing cost of 1 liter of petrol would go for about 202 naira. And so whatever the difference is, when you go to the fuel station, that amount is being paid by the federal government for you to be able to buy it at 195 naira that we buy in Abuja. Now, outside Abuja and Lagos, where fuel is sold for 300 plus, does it mean that federal government is not paying subsidy on those ones? Because that should be the actual translation of that. They also talk about the cost of transportation or transporting the commodity to such destinations is one of the reasons. Now, Abuja is not a closed destination. If PMS can land in Abuja and the fuel stations will sell at 195 naira, what stops it from being sold at the same rate in Niger, in Nasarawa, in Kogi? Because these are the questions that Nigerians need to ask. Subsidy cannot be paid on the product, and Nigerians will be buying at 300 naira, 350 naira. They're telling us the cost, the consumption has gone up. Meanwhile, some time ago, the group managing director of the NNPC, Mele Kyari, told us as well that there are people who racketeer the products, take the products to other countries, even after federal government has paid subsidy on those products. So it means that we're subsidizing the products for other countries. Why haven't we been able to track those people and ensure that they go out of business so that Nigerians can have these products that their government is subsidizing for them? Again, when inflation continues to rise, I'm particularly worried, because when prices of fuel goes up, people naturally just have excuses to increase prices of goods arbitrarily. So you can go to somebody's store today or this morning and he or she would sell stuff for you at a certain price. By the time you come back later, they'll decide, look, in fact, I'm not happy about the way things are going. Let me increase the price. And they will sell it at a different cost, at a different price. And when you talk, they tell you, oh, fuel has gone up. Cost of transportation has gone up.
Hello, good morning, my friend.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. I can hear you. What's your name?
Hello, good morning.
Uh-oh, what's happening? I can hear you. Okay, call me back, please. The conversation continues 09073530044 and 09087668888. And you can also send SMS and WhatsApp messages to 09097054450. Seems like my guest is held up. Can join us now. He's going to be joining us hopefully in a bit. But you can join me and let's talk about these things. How's this met you? If we don't have solutions to solve the problem or cushion the effects of subsidy removal, please help government. I'm begging you. Government says they haven't been able to arrive at a conclusion. What would you want them to do to solve the problem? Because cost of transportation goes up, everything else goes up. Averagely, people in the last few months have had to, or the last few weeks have had to go through hell trying to get to work or their business places because they don't have cash. Now, when transportation goes up because subsidy has been removed, and then there's still a cash situation that has refused to go away, even after the federal government has said old notes can continue to be used until December 31. What do you think would happen to Nigerians? One of the causes of the rise in inflation is this cash crunch. If we put these two factors together, how would Nigerians go about? How would Nigerians survive? It is not surprising that, yes, cost of living globally is going up. But in our case, what are we doing to make it easy? It is not enough to complain. Come up with solutions. Let's sell these solutions or sell these ideas to government as well. It is not enough to just complain. It is not. It has never been. It would never be. Try as well to proffer solutions. You know, it's easy for us to sit back and just complain and say, government is not doing this, government is not doing that. But when it's time for us to bring ideas, also provide ideas, we discover that it's hard. It's not that easy. It's not a walk in the park. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Prince Energy.
Good morning. Haruna, good to have you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Prince Energy.
Sir.
I think this is the right time for agencies who are supposed to do enforcement. Yesterday I called on the Mathematics show that somebody wanted to buy fuel yesterday. With the ordinary note, the filling station refused to collect the money from that person. I said they were not giving instruction of collecting the ordinary note. So I think police, I don't know the right agency to use, but they know themselves. They have to bring out an emergency number and say whoever that is having challenges, any organizations that refuse to collect this money, you can call on this number. We'll swing into action immediately. You start see compliance. You see, at times I just keep wondering about our problems. We'll be crying for this, they will give us that, we'll be crying for that, like that. We're shouting that, okay, there's no money in circulation. Fine. Some banks who still have these old Naira notes have loaded their ATMs. People are collecting it. You go to market to spend, they'll tell you that if you don't have the new Naira note, we will not attend to you. What is all this for? You understand? Then quickly, solution to our problem, I think government needs to do something very, very urgent. Most especially our market. There should be a kind of control of price, and also they can subsidize our food. You understand? The other time, Mr. President brought a rice pyramid in Abuja here. The whole world saw it. We're happy. This and that. How much is the price of rice now? I'm talking to you. Local rice. I'm not talking about foreign rice. These are things that people eat on a daily basis. We find it on a high cost. The money is not there. You see, please, the incoming government should look at the grassroots and know what is our problem and start providing solutions to them.
Okay.
Prince Henacho.
Thank you very much, Haruna. Food subsidy is against fuel subsidy. Like that idea. Talk to me some more in a bit.
Eagles 102.3.
Only 100 naira, you enter. Everybody can beat. If you win your bid.
You get what you want buy, but you don't get money. Microwave, TV, I mean you want pay NEPA bill. Download Yangabeat from any online store. With 100 naira, fund your wallet. Choose a plan for your Get Pass. Start spinning and winning. The player with the highest number wins the bid. Anything when you want buy, you can bid it and win it. Yangabeat, Nigeria's online marketplace.
You can call us on 091 3000 2014. 091 3000 2014.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Join the Eagles 102.3 FM Secondary School Squeeze-Out Show and be the academic champions. Enroll your school with 2 students participating in mathematics, English, and general knowledge. Registration is 20,000 naira only. And what's more, your school gets massive promotion as long as they remain in the competition. Entry closes on the 18th of March 2023. For payment details and inquiries, please call 090-9719-8377. Eagles 102.3 FM Squeeze-Out Show. Building future champions today.
From Milky Way to Earth, everywhere there's internet, you can connect with Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Log on to our website www.eaglesfm.com. Follow and engage with us now on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok at Eagles FM Abuja, Instagram at Eagles FM 1023. Download our apps on your Android and iOS stores. Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, your radio experience you can count on.
9:32 is the time. Thank you for staying with us. This is Eagles Outlook on your radio experience you can count on. And I have my guest joining us now, Mr. Samson Ojutalayo, who is an economist and agriculturist as well as a public affairs commentator. He's joining us this morning to share thoughts with us. I couldn't make it because he's stuck somewhere in traffic, the situation in our country. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Ojutalayo. It's good to have you this time around. We haven't spoken this year. Have we? Are you there, Mr. Samson? Okay, seems again like we have a connection problem now. Let's try to reconnect with him, and it would be good. So, we've been talking about the inflation numbers. The inflation figures as released by the National Bureau of Statistics yesterday shows that headline inflation has risen by 0.09%, going up to 21.91%. And, well, if we continue like this, where do we go? Where do we get to? Mr. Samson Ojutalayo, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, Nigerians.
Good morning to you too. And, well, quickly, let's get to it. Inflation's gone up to 21.91%. Some of the reasons given is that the cash crunch that Nigerians had to deal with in the last few months, on the last few weeks, on account of the Naira redesign policy. What do you, as an economist, looking at the situation, also federal government has said subsidy would be removed by the before the 29th of May. What do you think is the situation? What do you think where do you think our economy would be when all of this, when the subsidy removal comes to play?
You see, you don't expect a healthy teeth from a rotten mouth. So says the African elders. Now, the thing is, you cannot give what you don't have. How do you expect a lawyer to head an economic team and you expect
to have a productive outcome from such configuration. Now, the Constitution states that the Vice President shall be the head of the economic team of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, it's not a problem that you're a lawyer and as a leader you cannot do everything all by yourself, but who are those that gives you advice? Then if they give the advice, are you listening? Now, we will keep finding ourselves in situations like this because those that have the technical know-how to provide solutions to the myriad of problems that confront this country, they are not given the opportunity to serve because of political agenda or whatever. So what we are saying is, if you are looking at removal of subsidy, is that the solution to our problem? I will tell you that is not the major solution to the problem of the country. Because to be fair with this government, some countries or most countries are going through rising price. Now, most countries are experiencing inflation and Argentina is the worst hit of them all. Then Sri Lanka and all that. You see, there are some factors that leads to you experiencing the kind of scenarios that we have now, which is economic mismanagement, poor government policies. And talking about poor government policies, before I continue, look at what we just experienced, this Naira redesign. Now, there's what we call policy somersault. We just had this policy somersault in you telling us that, okay, all of us go and deposit your currency in the bank. Then, after a while, you told us to go and get back our money from the bank, and the bank is saying there's no money. The somersault came the moment you told us to go and get back the money. How can you do that? If you know, the policy in itself is very good, because if you notice, kidnapping reduced at the moment you told us that everybody should go digital. Online should be the main thing. We should pay. You know, but the Nigerian economy is a heavily monetized economy. You cannot do things like that in this country and say a heavily monetized economy, you want to wipe out the whole money in the economy. It's not going to work, and that's why we have the somersault that we just had. So the thing is, if you say you want to solve our economic problem and you look at subsidy alone to say it will be the solution to the problem, no, subsidy removal will not be the solution. It will be tantamount to you living. You are having leprosy, but you abandon the leprosy and you start looking after ringworms. You know, ringworms is one of the things that you may have if you are leprous. But if you start focusing on the ringworm and you leave leprosy alone, it means you are focusing. You major on the minor and you minor in major. So what we are saying is, subsidy, yes, is good, but what is is there sincerity of purpose in you removing the subsidy? Now, for how many times have subsidies been removed? That's the question you should ask yourself. I remember in 2012 when Jonathan attempted it, January 22, that's December / January 2012, when Jonathan attempted to remove subsidy, they say no, and they did a partial removal. And this is the problem. Don't do a partial removal. Remove the entire subsidy holistically, so that we know that if we are buying petroleum at 1,000 naira, we know it's 1,000. Because to also be fair with this government, when this subsidy is being paid to reduce the burden on Nigerians, some unscrupulous elements, like the military we like to call them, they will still take this fuel outside the country to go and sell in other nations because it is cheaper here and more expensive in those nations. So it's better you remove the subsidy, let all of us be paying the same thing, and let's see how it goes. But remember that if you do, it will also lead to an initial increase in price, because producers will translate that increase in price on goods and services that have been produced, which becomes a problem for the citizen. So are there palliative measures in place for you to cushion the effects of the subsidy removal? So it is not you focusing on the removal of subsidy Are you putting in place palliative measures that will help ameliorate the situation when the impact becomes grievous for the citizens of Nigeria? So we need to be careful on how we go about this subsidy removal. Now, if you ask me, this government no longer enjoys goodwill with the citizens, so they should leave it with the incoming government. If it is the person that was declared that comes in, now for the initial period he will enjoy a goodwill, so he can use that goodwill to remove the subsidy. And if it is those that are going to court that eventually won the election, that will eventually be declared, they can use the initial goodwill that they will have to remove that, so that people will not be able to complain. They will want to give him the benefit of the doubt to at least tackle the problem. But for now, I think this government should just manage till May 29 and just leave and not do anything untoward for now, because Nigerians are already not happy with the entire thing. Thank you.
Now let's talk about the palliative, or that you mentioned earlier. I was talking earlier about how the State Minister of State Budget and National Planning had told Nigerians and reporters that the economic team and the committee set up by the Vice President, headed by the Vice President, for over a year ago, have been working on modalities or palliatives, but they haven't reached a conclusion yet. And if this same administration has said they're going to remove subsidy before the end of May, when they would be leaving office, when this short period, what do you think they can do to ameliorate the sufferings that Nigerians may have to go through on account of removal of subsidies, since it seems like they've not been able to reach a conclusion as to what it is that needs to be done for Nigerians?
Now, this is what I'm saying, that you are just focusing on subsidy removal. There's no measure in place to solve this problem, to give palliatives. Now, since you've not arrived at what to do to cushion the effect, but you've arrived at dates that you want to remove it. That's like putting the cart before the horse. That's wrong. Now, what do I think we should do? Reduce importation. Whatever you are not producing, don't consume it. Anything you are not producing, don't consume it. Because you discover that we are heavily, because I was trying to list the point. One of the points why you will keep experiencing rising prices or high inflation is that when you over depend on importation, you will definitely have high price rising. So the thing is, you will have to reduce importation, because if you look at our leaders, they are practicing what some we call do as I say, but don't do as I do. You will tell us that, you don't allow medical tourism, but when you have ear problem, you will run to UK. When you have leg problem, you will run to France. When you have but you don't want Nigerians to do it. Now you will tell us consume local rice, but you are not eating local rice. You tell us wear Nigerian design, but we check your leg. We are seeing Gucci, we are seeing VL, we are seeing all manner of design on you that you want to. So the thing is, bulk of our forex is going to these people, to these countries, and it is killing the domestic outfits. So what I think we should do now majorly is to look at our importation. Let us stop importing all this. See, we can depend on ourselves. Now we say, no nation is an island, that we must interact with other economies for us. You must look at your balance of payment and look at it. Are you having a negative balance of payment, or you're having a positive balance of payment? Now, if you're having a negative balance of payment, that's meaning you are importing more than you export. What do? Where are those importation coming up? And is there a perfect substitute in your country? Now, we will definitely need to import like tractors and all those heavy machines from other countries, which means we will still be dependent on them. But how can you be importing toothpick? We have a lot of trees in this country. So can't you set up an outfit that will help you to break them down into toothpick. Innocent Motor is in Southeast Nigeria. How can't you encourage them by saying, okay, all government vehicles will be supplied by Innocent? That will mean that Innocent needs to expand its capacity. Innocent needs to employ more people. Innocent also needs not to be located in the east. He needs to move up north. Like, okay, if you say you are considering volatility, at least Abuja. From Abuja, you ship or you move your product into other areas of the country. But if you look at the federal government, they are not looking at that direction. Our president and vice as he driving Maybach Mercedes-Benz rather than using Innocent. I think it's only Anambra State that is using their product, except those ones that they gift out to other
even the Nigerian military is using the innocent vehicles. The Nigerian army and some parastatals, patronized innocent vehicles, but that's not the crux.
Make it a statutory. I'm just speaking Innocent. There are numerous outfits. You see, all these little things that you're looking at, like the food you eat in your house, the wine you drink. Must you even drink wine? Say we produce there's this thing they call kunwaya. Say we produce what do they call it in English? Tiger nut. We produce tiger nut in this country. Start doing smoothie, locally produced smoothie. In short, those are even more healthy than those champagne you want to be drinking. You want to show that you are a big man. See, if you want to do double taxation, let your double taxation come on those champagne and all those expensive wine. But all those other agricultural products that can translate into wine should be heavily encouraged. The farmers should be encouraged. And another thing you can do to also reduce this inflation is this issue of kidnapping, because farmers can no longer go to their farm. Immediately after the presidential election, we had that in about 4 states, Katsina, Niger, and Kaduna, that people were kidnapped. Farmers are afraid to go to their farm and produce. You will be thinking that it is immaterial. These things matter because people are no longer subsistent in their output. They are now going commercial. But the moment they hear of kidnapping, nobody will want to go to those farms again. Everybody is running away. This will translate into higher price for the meager food that we can manage to get in the market. And that is where the problem is coming from. See, a lot of things are happening in this country just because of the activity of bandits. And nobody is saying anything. You will now go to Southeast and be bombarding them because they are making a demand of the federal government that what they are doing. I'm not in support of any violent activity, and I'm not in support of anybody. But what I'm saying, Boko Haram bandits, they are doing more damage to us than what we think the Southeast. So I think the energy of the military should be focused on the Northeast, and the North Central that is experiencing banditry activities, rather than you going to the Southeast to go and be destroying the little peace that they have in that area.
All right, Mr. Ojita, let's bring in a few callers who have been itching to join the conversation. All right. Hello, good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Saudi from Asokoro.
Say again.
Saudi from Asokoro.
Saudi, good to have you. Let's hear you quickly.
Thank you very much. Me, I see the issue is this. The price difference between, let's say, the foreign goods and the local goods produced, like, let's say, for example, rice. The price difference is nothing, and the quality to make Nigerians patronize the local rice more than the foreign rice. If you check the differences, it's not up to like 5,000. Now, if you make the foreign rice quality, the local rice quality, very okay, more than the foreign rice. You don't need to force Nigerians to stop buying the local rice. You understand?
Okay, so put down the volume of your radio. We're having a holdback.
Okay. Is it okay now?
Yes, it's better. Go ahead quickly, please.
Okay. So now, I think the government should make the quality of local produce very okay, up to the standard, and the price should be lower than the foreign goods, so that Nigerians will patronize that. You don't need to force them not to buy the foreign one, they will automatically stop buying the foreign one, because when you are talking of the quality, it's here. When you are talking of the lesser price, is here. And concerning what the government should do, let's say in the area of transportation, the federal government should make sure that they should buy buses that will assist the government. They should make the price little lower. You understand? So that it will assist the masses. Interstate buses should be patronized. This will assist the masses, and it will reduce the pain the masses will be passing through. Yes, right. Yes, and the government, please, they should stop this extravagant spend. Just like what one of the Labour Party presidential candidates said, the government should be sincere. What you will ask the government to buy, let's say 10 naira. You know that thing is 10 naira, but they will write 20 naira. Stealing is one of the bigger problems. Sincerity from the side of government should be patronized, and they should make sure they should be sincere in whatever they are doing.
Okay, so
yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for calling. We'll take more 09073530044 and 09087668888. Hello, good morning. Okay, that one dropped.
Hello, can I react?
Yes, please. Quickly.
Hello,
yes,
Prince.
Yes.
Now, his first point, I would like to because I have a different view. He was talking about we improving on the quality. Now, let me be blunt here. That Nigeria, the way our constitution operates, is that it works in the south, the up north it doesn't work. For example, when you shut down the borders in the southern part of Nigeria, when I say south now, anything from southwest, southeast, south were shut down. But you see north, the borders were not shut. People were moving in stuff freely. They go in, they go out freely. Now, we don't even have to start improving. Now, I'm not taking away improvement. But if we have goodwill and we shut down the border against rice production, what we have now, there are many producers in this country that are doing well in terms of rice production. That you buy local rice, you will not even know that it is local rice. I don't want to do advert for anybody. But go to the market, tell the abokis, the malams, that you want a local rice that doesn't have stone. They will give it to you. Go to Kano, you will see rice that have been separated, that have been properly sieved, and there is no single stone in those rice. And you will buy them and you will eat without any issue. So it's just that on the part of the government, they have vested interest in all these things, and they just use the military might and police and other paramilitary might to suppress the masses. Otherwise, we have nothing to do with rice importation again. We are okay. Let's consume what we have. China, when they started, they were producing, when we were younger, I don't know, maybe you experienced that thing. When you want to buy anything fake, you will ask an Igbo man, you say, is it Taiwan or Belgium? I don't know, maybe you had that comment then.
It was popularly Taiwan. It was popularly Taiwan.
Taiwan, you are asking Taiwan if it is fake, right? Is that correct? And people were buying it to mean Taiwan is a fake product and Belgium is the original. Now, Taiwan today is an economically advanced country, but they started with fake products. And that is why as Nigerians, you want to know, is this Taiwan or is this Belgium? But we can, as it stands now, we cannot favorably compete with all these foreign countries because we don't have electricity to start with. If I ask you in your office now, you might probably be running on diesel. And you want to compete with somebody that has 24-hour power supply? No, it will not work. So we need a strong will, political will, and other personal will to make this work. And how do we make it work? Anything we don't produce, that's our slogan. Anything we don't produce, we don't need. Whatever we cannot produce in Nigeria, we don't need it.
Okay.
And that is how it will be. So let our leaders die in office. They must use our hospital. I bet you, brother, if they start using our hospitals in Nigeria, our hospitals will work. If their children start going to our public schools will work. Because I saw a presidential candidate, I don't want to mention him, who was saying that, do you want me to die? That if the medical facilities are available in UK, I will go and look for it. For me, immediately he said, although there was no way I was going to vote for that old man, but immediately he made that statement. I said, see, one of the reasons why I will not vote for you. I want a leader that will use our own hospital.
We'd have to wrap it up now. It's a good place to close the conversation. Thank you so much, Mr. Samson Ojutalayo, economist and public affairs commentator. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing thoughts with us this morning.
You're always welcome.
Appreciate
Thank you for having me.
Have a pleasant day ahead. And Sanusi from Suleja says, there must be a workable institution where everything will work accordingly. Rule of law must be observed and strongly adhered to. Everything is there in the Constitution. However, price control must not be overemphasized. We have some of the best economists in the world, so we need round pegs in round holes and not vice versa. The system must work as a whole. That is my stake. That's my take on that. Nigeria shall rise again. Sanusi, thank you very much. And this is where we drop the anchors. To everyone who's been a part of the conversation, we appreciate you for being here and joining the conversation this morning. Let's do this again tomorrow at the top of the hour 9. My name is Ihia Natural Prince. Keep it with us. Business is up next. Right after that, the Media Extra takes over.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.